Hello, my friends. My name is Paul, and welcome back to A Common Touch of Fantasy. This is going to be my last week's wrap up and this week's currently reading. The first book I'm going to talk about is The Collapsing Empire by Mr. John Scalzi. This is his latest book, and I enjoyed this. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was a fun read. I thought the characters were a lot of fun. Scalzi always has amazing dialogue and scenes that are mostly dialogue. And I had a lot of fun reading this. The characters are snarky and witty and sarcastic, and some of them are just downright jerks. It's basically what you would expect from a John Scalzi novel. My issue, though, was that it felt so much like an introductory novel and so much like the beginning of a large series novel that I didn't really like the length. I wanted it to be longer. I wanted it to be meatier. I wanted the ending to be a little bit more exciting. And I just felt that this was short. And it felt short. Some short books don't feel short, but this one just felt short, and I wanted more out of it. I made the comment on Twitter that this was a great prologue, and I kind of feel that way. I feel this is the prologue to this entire series, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I could not imagine paying full price for this book. I got it off from my library, and the full price is like $26. And if I would have bought this at full price and read it, I probably would have felt a little bit disappointed just because there isn't a whole lot in this. It definitely focuses on the political aspects. This flow that they use to travel the universe is dying or switching, and the system that they have set up is that all of the systems are interdependent on each other. So if this way of traveling goes away, then a lot of the space stations and planets will lose a lot of their resources. And so it's pretty much a disaster if this ability to travel light speed distances goes away. And so it's a collapsing empire. It was good. I thought it could be better. I hope that the series really picks off from here. I have a feeling that it's going to do the same type of thing that Old Man's War did. And with that, it gives me a little hesitation. But I'm hoping that it gets better and that my issues with the substance of the book really changes in the second book. So I read a novella called Forest of Memory by Mary Robinette Kowal, and this was just okay. There's this woman that is a collector. She collects antiques. In the future, things that were made by hand, things that were made by corporations and like factories are rare because everything is now made by like printing machines, like 3D printing machines and things like that. So a typewriter that actually works is super rare and super expensive. An actual book is like super rare and expensive. And she goes around and collects these things for people that she then sells. So she's really connected to the internet. Her thoughts and the way she lives her life is like interdependent on the internet. And then she gets into this situation where she loses her connection to the internet and she's all by herself. Usually she can record everything, and if she has to remember something, she goes back and plays the recording. But now that she's not connected, she has to actually remember everything from her actual memory. And that's kind of the theme of this story. Actual memory versus digital memory. So kind of like the difference between nowadays of taking a picture nonstop and putting it on Facebook, or experiencing the event, experiencing the moment, and just remembering it. And there are other themes in this too, but near the end, it gets a little bit, it kind of just like stops a little bit, and it doesn't really bring home this theme really strongly. You know, she was kidnapped by this hunter, and she was being held captive, and he was doing something to the deer in the forest. I don't know. It just kind of didn't work in the end. There wasn't much direction, and the pacing was way off. George Orwell's 1984. I finally read this classic of a book, and it was okay. It was good. I gave it a 3 out of 5. If you've watched my videos in the past, you usually know that I put more emphasis on enjoyment, plot, and just really having a good time reading a book. 1984 is not that type of book. Not for me, at least. It's not an enjoyable book. It is definitely a book that you read and you think about, you process, and you're stimulated intellectually. Because it's so depressing, I could never enjoy this book. The plot was so-so. There wasn't a whole lot going on. Majority of the book was the world building that Orwell put into this book, which is phenomenal for a book written in 1949. Just fantastic. Really impressed by the detail he put into this dystopian world before there was even a thing called dystopia, and I'm impressed by that. However, it was just not an entertaining read. It's important to read. I feel like it's one of those books that you should read before you die, that you should read as soon as possible, but I probably won't be the type of person that will reread it, and it wasn't like super entertaining. I did like the whole thing about doublespeak, and I think that was the most relationable thing to our current situation in the world, where people know the facts about something, but they choose to believe something completely different. I think with that was very poignant for what is going on in our world today. This coming week, I am reading The Hike by Mike McGreary. This is a Lovecraftian, Margaret Atwood kind of weird, with a little bit of Kurt Vonnegut thrown in there. And it's basically about this guy that goes on a walk, and weird things happen. Some co-workers have read this, and I want to be able to read that because they were asking me, hey, Paul, you should read that book. And it's relatively short, so it's not a big deal. Also, I'm reading this kid's book, Rain, by Anne Martin. This is a kid's book about a boy with Asperger's syndrome. I'm sorry, it's a girl with Asperger's syndrome. And she loves homonyms like rain, or pear and pear. Her name is Rose, so her own name's a homonym. And she's just a delightful little kid with a mental disability, basically. And it's pretty good so far. I'm really enjoying it. And her dog gets lost, and she has to go find her dog. And she's really close to her dog. And it's going to be one of those books. Other than that, I am going to be reading some short stories this week. I'm going to be reading some comics. On Saturday, I am doing a no tech, no clocks reading day. So I am turning all my clocks around in the entire house so that I cannot see them. I am not using my phone all day. I am not using my computer all day. I'm going to try as hard as I can not to know what time it is, and just read and do whatever and see kind of what happens and how it feels. Because I am a huge person to schedule things. I love to schedule my reading. I love to schedule when I do this and that. But at the same time, there is a sense of letting go and relaxing when you just do whatever and not pay attention to what time it is and just kind of go by how you feel and what the sun looks like. So if you're hungry, you eat. If you're tired, you take a nap. And you just read all day. And it just sounds like a great day. I'm really going to try to do it on Saturday. And I'm going to focus on short fiction and comic books probably because I want to catch up on those areas. So I'm looking forward to that. That's what I'm up to. I finished Orphan Black Season 4. Great show. I'm really glad that I gave it a try. I'm now looking into trying to start a new show, but I'm probably going to catch up on some of the TV that I've missed. I'm way behind on Once Upon a Time. I'm behind in all my ABC family comedy shows that I usually watch. So I'll probably focus on that. And just have a really good week. And try to walk more, get outside more, experience nature a little bit more. Things of that nature. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great week. Let me know if you've read something that was really good that you think I would like. And leave a comment, like and comment, like I just said. Whew, I'm a little bit rusty. You guys are great. I'm going to try to be more active. Thanks for following. Thanks for watching.